Well, it looks like MoneyGram is jumping into the Ripple versus the SEC case. Now, this is an interesting one because MoneyGram was one of Ripple's first big name clients that were using the on-demand liquidity system, which they've since backed out of, but now they want to enter into the case. I'm going to tell you what they did in a letter to the judge regarding some information about MoneyGram. Also, some juicy information has just come out because an unnamed party wrote a letter to Judge Torres asking to seal certain information and keep certain pieces of information from things like depositions, from the expert reports, that they want it redacted and sealed because of private business information. However, in doing so, they may have released some very, very private information that the SEC wanted hidden. So I'm going to tell you what the XRP Twitter sleuths are now investigating. Also, there was some news that just came out that said Ripple increased the sales of XRP this quarter compared to last. In fact, it was up 50%. So why is Ripple selling so much XRP right now when it's essentially worth about half of what it was last quarter? Well, I'm going to tell you what some of the speculation is and why the SEC really shouldn't be concerned or even question it, because part of it is their own fault. Hey everyone, my name is Randy. Welcome back to the Late Night Grind. Right now on this channel, we're covering the Ripple versus the SEC case, as well as other cryptocurrency news, investment markets, and personal finance. So if any or all these topics interest you, make sure you hit that subscribe button, join the Late Night Grind community, and also don't forget to hit that bell notification icon. That way YouTube will send you a notification when I release a new video. Also, if you do a couple things, I'd appreciate it. Smash the thumbs up button, watch this video all the way to the end, and of course, check out my Patreon. There's a link in the description below. All right, guys. Let's jump into it. So let's first start off by talking about why Ripple is selling so much XRP. Literally, hundreds of millions of XRP in the last quarter, which is up 50% from how much they sold that previous quarter. So what are they actually using that money for? Why are they actually essentially getting rid of a ton of their holdings of XRP? And why isn't the SEC doing anything about it? So Brad Garlinghouse was recently on an interview and he was talking about this case, and he said by the time it's all over, Ripple will have paid over $100 million in legal fees. Now, they have an awesome legal team. They also have people on their defense teams that are former SEC attorneys, very, very high-priced people that are on the case fighting for Ripple. So they got to pay for that somehow. Now, I know Ripple as a whole is having an amazing year, at least according to their standards even, but nonetheless, they're still selling off some XRP. My guess and some of the speculation is to pay for these legal fees. But here's the question. If the SEC, which in fact they are asserting that XRP are illegal securities and that anytime you buy or sell them, it is an illegal securities transaction, because that is what they're going after Ripple for, saying Ripple sold all of these as illegal securities and those were illegal securities transactions. So how comes the ones that Ripple are selling right now not being fought against by the SEC? Now, if the SEC really, truly thought XRP was an illegal security, they would have had an injunction put against Ripple and barred them from transacting, buying, or selling any XRP specifically. Now, why didn't they do that? Well, some think that is because if they even attempted that they would lose it outright and they would be starting off this case off the wrong foot. Because not only that, they actually did that in their case against Telegram. In their case against Telegram, they actually did have an injunction put against the Telegram crypto, in which they said from this day forth, you can't transact anything until this case is over. That one, the SEC won. Well, they didn't go after XRP in terms of all sales. They're only going after Ripple in terms of a certain time frame sales. But then in their actual complaint, they said all XRP is an illegal security. So right off the bat, there's some huge questions. John Deaton actually said it perfectly when he said, how comes the SEC, which is going after a company for selling which is supposedly an illegal security, allowing them to continue to sell the illegal securities to pay for their defense to fight against the SEC that's claiming the XRP that they're selling is an illegal security? Why wouldn't they cut that off right at the head? They never did. And of course, a lot of the XRP speculators on Twitter say, well, that's because the primary reason for the SEC dropping this case on Ripple wasn't actually to win it, but simply dropping the case was the win. And of course, that's some of the wink-wink backstory information and talking about Ethereum Gate and of course all the ties to potential corruption that the SEC now has. All right, now speaking of the Ripple case specifically, there's a few parties that are now jumping in that they want some information hidden from public. MoneyGram is one of them. Now, that is a big name that used to use RippleNet, the on-demand liquidity system. They have since backed out and they no longer use it. Well, they jumped in and said, there's a few pieces of information in there because one of our officers that gave a deposition, we don't want certain non-public information coming out about our business. That'll probably be approved. But along with that, an unnamed third party came along, wrote a letter to Judge Torres. And according to James Filan on Twitter, who posted this, that was a sealed letter. They were actually asking for the same thing, kind of redactions, pieces of information being sealed that they don't want coming out to be the public. But in their letter, they actually named the 7 exhibits in which this information could be found. And when they named their exhibits, they named them after the experts who are named in these exhibits and reports, you know, the ones that the SEC wanted hidden because supposedly John Deaton and his followers go after them and call them mean names. Well, guess what? That information is supposedly public now. So there's a lot of Twitter sleuths that are going through this information, picking out the names that were posted by James Filan, which was public information, or at least filed on a letter that was public information, and doing what they do best. The XRP Twitter community is uncovering piece by piece, like a piece of chicken that is being uncovered down to the bones by a pack of wild red ants, what these names actually mean. Now, you can follow me on Twitter. I retweeted a lot of this stuff. We are awaiting word from some of our favorite attorneys on Twitter to give their thoughts on what these names actually mean, because it looks like those are the names of the experts that the SEC wanted hidden. So let me know in the comment section down below if this was done on purpose or if this was done completely by accident. I'm telling you, you can't make this stuff up. And someday when they make a movie about all this, I really hope they go through these Twitter threads, because some of it is absolute gold. And finally, let's take a look at the markets, because right now Bitcoin is having a tough time cracking 24,000. It seems to be hovering right around there. The rest of the altcoin market is basically holding steady right along with it. XRP has been hovering around 36, 37, touched 38 cents. Now for XRP specifically, 38 cents to up to about 44 cents is a huge resistance level. There are a ton of resistances all the way up to 44 cents if Bitcoin in fact goes and makes a run up to say 28 or 30, because there's not much resistance between 24 and 30. You're going to see XRP go up to about 60 cents in my opinion, according to what some of these charts and some of the volume indicators are saying. Because right now it doesn't look like Bitcoin is getting rejected at 24,000, but it's not exactly breaking through it. It's just hovering, and it might do that for the rest of the weekend. Going to be something to keep an eye on. All right, guys, so if you are new to the Late Night Grind YouTube channel, I'd appreciate it if you really consider subscribing, as well as checking out the community tab that I put up a lot of polls up there on a weekly, sometimes a daily basis, because I love to know what your guys' thoughts are, not only on these stories, but on the rest of the cryptocurrency market, the rest of the index markets, and of course, the global markets, especially now that we're talking about regulation and what that could do to the investment markets. Also, if you haven't already, go check out the video I just put up about the collapse of China and how Chinese banks are now limiting withdrawals, and it's looking very scary. And in that video, I go over why the Chinese real estate sector is absolutely collapsing. So if that interests you, go ahead and check out that video. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate you watching all the way to the end, for smashing that thumbs up button. And as always, I'll see you guys on the next video.